Great evening, everyone. Great evening. Thank you for tuning again. Tuning again. Where did I get that from? I have no clue. Thank you for tuning in today to
It's all
another
right.
episode of Releasing My Secret, the podcast where we come on and we bring in guests and they amplify their voice one story at a time. I am host, certified trauma and recovery coach, Santeresa. And I'm just grateful just for another day, grateful that you all tuned in, just excited that this is episode number 2 of 2022. Consistency is key for me, you guys. And so I am extremely glad. So if this is your first time tuning in, thank you for coming on. If you are watching it now, please, please, please remember to like, share, and tag somebody to come on in. And so I'm superly excited for my guest on today. Y'all know I can get very chatty. I had to calm down. I was tying up my words getting all twisted. I ain't even going on a second ago. However, we'll pull it together as ReGina introduced herself, and then we just gonna start talking, y'all. Y'all know how we do. So I'm going to be quiet now, and I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Thank you again for coming.
You're doing fine. Thank you. Allow me to come on your platform. I really appreciate it. I am ReGina Smithwick. I am an author. I am a certified life coach. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a talk show and podcast host. And I am honored to be here today. And my journey started in 2019, and we could talk about that a little bit after we do the intro. But finding my purpose, finding my birth family, it was just so many things that happened, but it led me into this world of purpose now. So I know my assignment, as they say now. I know my assignment. So I thank you again for allowing me to come on your show.
Thank you. Girl, you done said a whole mouthful. You was like saying stuff. My brain was like, where I want to start, right? But that is key. That seems like that is going to be the theme of the beginning of this year, I can say. Finding purpose, right?
Yes,
because
Yes, it is.
when I say, and I think what really let me say this. I think for a lot of people where they're at is that everybody was living, moving, tucking, moving, doing everything that probably wasn't purpose driven. It was just what they had to do. And
That's
so
right.
we had that moment in 2020 where we all had to sit down and reevaluate life. And so 2021 kicked off and we got a little bit of freedom. And I think we was all over the place, right? Everybody was trying to figure out what they wanted to do. I tell some people sometimes, and I had to tell some friends, close friends, like that is not, that business you opened up, you shouldn't have opened it up because that's just a hobby that you love. That ain't really something that you diligent. You gotta just be true to yourself, right?
Right.
So you said something that was so key, and that I would love to start there. Okay. Because some people would be like, well, how do I find my purpose? Because everybody has so many. Now you're a coach, right? And so as fellow coaches, I think that's one of the biggest things that people come to us and they're looking for at some point in time their purpose.
Yeah,
right?
They are. Yes, they are.
And so what would you say to someone? And or what was your experience in finding your purpose?
Well, you said a lot of good little things there. And let's start with the purpose. When everybody had the God said sit down moment in 2020, right? God just shut everything down. It made people think. When you said it, everybody was on autopilot. Everybody was just doing what they thought they're supposed to be doing. Well, when you get a moment to sit down, and then sit down when you get paid to sit down in most cases, and get paid more than you were getting paid at the job you was at, it makes you think. You think about your value, your self-esteem. What is your purpose? What is your reasoning? Like, if you're getting paid more, you're going to try to find a way to keep that income going. And a lot of people, this is what they were doing. So just like you said, that people that's opening businesses and stuff, they had the right spirit, but you got to be driven by your purpose, not by the dollar. You don't chase the money, you chase the purpose, and the money will follow. So most people were just kind of trying to jump into like these businesses because everything was popping up, so everything sounds good, and you just trying to keep this income because a lot of people knew when they go back to work they're going to lose a couple $100 a week.
Yeah.
going back to those other jobs, and they didn't want to do that. So they were trying to figure out something. So I get that. I understand that. But you have to, your purpose, everybody has it. First of all, we all have it. It's not like nobody has it. God brings us all here with a purpose. It's our job to find it. And you don't really, I think what happens is we get into a life of, when we're born, we're born the same. We are free and clear. But then we got things called parents and relatives and friends that have belief systems already, and they put them in you. And then you just take on the role of what they want you to be, or the role of their belief systems, and you kind of get away from your purpose, right? So then we usually have like life experiences or things that happen in our lives that kind of awakens us up in most cases. And like for me, I just got awoken about 2 years ago. So I'll be 52 this year. So I look 49 and a half. Thank you. I'll be 52 this year. But I was like 49 and a half when I decided, like that movie, The Matrix, is so real. It's so real. Like I thought about it, I was like, that's a biblical movie, because the way it was structured, you kind of sleep. And then when somebody show you the light, you look around and go, what in the world? I didn't know that the world was really like this. That's how I kind of woke up. I was like, whoa, like, what? So when I found out how simple the question you ask yourself, right? What am I here for? What do I love to do? What do I do that make me smile when I wake up, when I go to bed? What I could do that if I get paid or not, I'm still happy. That's your purpose, right? Our purpose sometimes is not what we think it is. There's some people out here that make hot dogs. They make the best hot dogs in the world. They love it. They get up in the morning, they go get their little cart, because they love interacting with people. It's not about the hot dog. It's about the interaction and talking to people and see how people are, and you making them happy and you making them smile, right? That's their purpose. They're not making a lot of money, but they're happy, and that's their purpose. Sometimes we get so in this money thing, and we get so far away from what we're supposed to be here to do.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, because like you being a coach, I being a life coach or a motivational speaker, yes, we could make money doing this, of course. But our first thing is about helping people. We didn't go in and say, I want to be a coach to make money.
Some people have, and I just want to interject for a second, because some people have come into the industry with the thought of, I can make money. And I don't want to like totally go away from topic, but I just wanted to interject because, number one, when I started off, I wasn't making no money, okay? Mm-hmm. People, most of the time, they fabricate about how many clients they got or whatever to get people in. Let me just be real, right? And so, because it's marketing. And so people, and I always say this, I said this probably like 2 years ago, that when I first launched, I would have photo shoots and all your marketing stuff looks fabulous. I was broke.
It costs money to market. I spent thousands marketing.
And then I took on clients who didn't pay. I say that because that was my love for people.
That's right.
And so I always say that God will make the provision for the finances when you do right, when your intentions are right. Because some people can't afford it. And I know people say if they had money, people pay for what they want. I hear it all the time, and that's true. But then some people really want it and can't pay for it. So I just wanted to say, like, when you're finding out your purpose, understand that sometimes you're going to walk in it without the finances following it. It'll come eventually, right? Yes, but sometimes it don't come how you feel that it should come. And don't get discouraged when you don't see it right away. So
that's true.
Want to throw that
no, I'm glad you did interject, because one of the things that you said that is very vital is people did come in here to make money. That's what they came to do, right? But in most cases, they don't really last that long, because either the money is not going to come like they think, or they're going to get burnt out and not really like what they do. See, a lot of times when people get into things that they try to make money, if the money don't come quick, they burn out and fizz out really quick, because they didn't come in with the right intentions, like you just said. So you could come in all day and want to be a life coach. That's cool. You want to be, any kind of coach. But if you don't really have the passion for it or the purpose for it, you're not going to stay there long.
Yeah.
Because if you only stay there for the money, it's going to show in your service. So your clientele is not going to really want to stay because they're going to see that you just, there for the clock. You just there to get that hour in. You just there to get that service in. They're not going to really stay because, when you're a coach or anything that you are servicing people, you have to have the right intentions in your heart because it's going to show. People go with people because how you make them feel, right? So if you making somebody feel good, they're going to pay for that feeling of goodness. They paying for that feeling more than you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not paying. They're paying for you. You have your credentials. You have your skills. Yes, that's true. Because they are learning from you, but they're coming back because of the way you make them feel. So if you ain't going in with the right intentions, it's going to be cute for a minute, show and tell, flash and dash, but eventually they're going to catch on to you and they're going to say, well, you're not making me feel good. So why I'm paying you money and I can do this for myself and feel the same way.
Listen, sometimes we jump. I laugh because I would just think sometimes we jump into stuff because it worked for us or it was a good product for us, but it ain't something that we should sell, right? So
yeah, it's for you.
I started laughing because I remember I used to sell Avon, right? And I love Avon makeup products, but I never made money off of Avon because I was always ordering it for myself. So everything that I ordered,
you were just getting a discount. You were using it for your discount.
The only time I ever made money was when the church mother ordered offline.
But right.
Taking out more money than I was making money because, and I think I tried Mary Kay once. I was motivated by the pink card, but I realized I wasn't going to get there. It's just not me. I'm not a salesperson. And so that just wasn't, everything ain't for everything's not for
everybody. Not for everybody. But guess what? Guess what you learned from that though? Your entrepreneurship, right? Like all those roads you took led you to sitting right in that chair you're in right now.
Yeah.
Like those things would not make you who you are right now. You had to go through what you like and what you don't like because there's no failures. It's just trying things. And when you don't like it, you went on to something else. And then you eventually got to where you was at. Because I used to sell paparazzi jewelry, and back in 2016, 17, 18, it's still good now. People still doing it great. I mean, I love the product. I love what it stands for. I love the owners. I mean, they're giving a lot of people a lot of opportunities to become their own bosses. Just like Mary Kay, just like Avon, they all kind of have the same structure for women to kind of do their thing.
Yeah.
But it has to be something that is passionate for you. There's people I know in there that's making millions of dollars, like literally millions of dollars a year doing it because that's their passion and they really love doing what they do. I like to service people, but in a different facet. And I had to realize that, like, I wanted to do it in a more servicey package than a product package. It's a difference. But I had to do that to know I want to do this. So it's never nothing wrong with that, and that's another thing that people do. And they put themselves in these boxes because you're going to fail. It's a fail. Nothing is a fail. A failure is when you don't try nothing. You sit in the same spot this year, next year, the year after next. That's called failure. If you want to put a tag on a failure, let's tag that. Don't tag a person who's trying different things because they're like, oh, she don't know what she want to do. One day she want to sell this, the next day she want to sell that. But that's a person who's not trying. I don't like using that word too much because that means you not making a decision. But there's a person out there who is working on figuring out their purpose. And they taking those chances to figure it out. That's a person I'd rather gamble with than a person who's sitting still talking about, girl, look, oh, she come again. She about to sell something else to me,
Yeah.
But you can't knock the game. You can't knock the hustle. At least they doing something.
Listen, I done been to it, and I laugh at everything, so I can't even be like, and I laugh, but I've been to hair school, culinary school, business school. I've been through so many classes. And so for me, at one point in time, I was like, I'm in school so much. Right?
You're a full-time student.
Yeah.
You're a lifetime student.
I was going to school so much, I lost track of everything. And it's so funny because I love to cook, but I would never open up a restaurant. Like I love my weekends, right? I love makeup, but so when I went to hair school, it was a no-brainer until they was like, oh, see, years ago, and I don't want to date myself, I'm young, but years ago, when you went to hair school, you had to learn everything. They didn't break it out.
I went to hospitality school too,
right?
In the early 90s.
And I was like, I don't want to touch somebody's hair. I just want to do skincare. Like I love skincare.
Do that back then.
And and then I wanted to be a lawyer. But then I used to fight against time. And so that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother time, because I always felt like I didn't have time. And so I never took the time out to make time so that I can accomplish those things back then that I really thought that I wanted to do. And so, but it brought me to where I'm at now, because these experiences, I can help out other people. But I wanted to say that because you're right. Sometimes you got to try different things until you find what it is that works for you. And even when I got my coaching certification, I had the certification probably 2 years before I actually put it out there and launched out. And so, and even then it was, I was just a life and development coach. And so as I went through more training, and definitely through prayer, and just, and trying to figure out what it is. And I'm like, trauma recovery. Like I've been through so much. And so it put me here. A lot of people are like, well, how? I'm like, listen, you got to walk a walk and take those experiences and apply it to your now. You can't sit on them, right? That's not move. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because, and another thing too, it would stop people, or people get in this little rut, is because they don't really know their value. Everybody has value, and everybody has a purpose, and everybody has a reason to be here. And when you sell yourself short because you don't know your value, you can't expect other people to know it for you. So other people are not going to say, oh, I know your value. Like they're going to know your value based on what you're showing them, right? So if you're a coach, or you're doing any kind of entrepreneurship, and let's say you decided after, you sat down, you want to do something, you figured it out, what you had love for. Some of the things you have love for is not going to be the most financial, jobs or whatever. But if you're happy, that's all that matters. But you do have to value who you are and value yourself. That's selling yourself. That's branding yourself when you value yourself. That's why when people say, you had mentioned that people pay for what they want to pay for, right? So if you're doing what you're doing and you pay, you charge a certain amount. Guess how much we put in ourselves? So all those classes, right? You invested in yourself. Like I spent hundreds of dollars on classes to invest in myself, so I could have that on, you can see that, hey, she spent this money, she did this, she got this certificate, this. I would trust you because I know that you put investment in yourself to help me. A lot of people don't want to do that. They'll go buy the latest and greatest. They'll go buy the best cars and the clothes and the shoes and the bags in a minute, like literally flip that out and they'll pay for it and don't think nothing of it. But when it's time to pay for a class for $500, they want to go around and question that all day. What they going to teach me for $500?
So you said something really interesting that kind of stood out to me, because I struggled in this area. And so about valuing yourself, right? Because it took me a while. I think, and I think it was an inward struggle, right?
Yep.
And I think because of what I've gone through, that I've allowed situations to put in my mind that I was devalued.
Yeah, you let the situation value you.
And so, but my situations actually made me more valuable.
See, that's called what? Mindset. You got to change your mindset. Everything starts with your mindset. So if you start, and this is what I had to learn, because I was just like everybody else with that. I never put time and effort into even thinking about a mindset. What's a mindset? You just think it is what it is. You do what you do, and you just live the rest of your life like you're living, right? You feel, oh, if I'm 50 years old, then this is about it. This is it. This is where no, it's not. It's not it. You can always improve yourself. but your mindset has to change. It has to change on how you feel about yourself first. And then it has to change how you think about money.
Yeah.
How you think about people is it's a whole thing. Like, for example, and a lot of people, like Nas is one of my favorite like rappers all time. I'm a hip hop head. Like I love hip hop. So most of the rappers I love is conscious rappers, especially like Nas. Nas, didn't even finish high school, but Nas has so much knowledge because Nas reads a lot. He reads novels and books, and he explores. That is why he is the way he is, and that's why now he's a billionaire, because he reads and he pays attention to stuff, and he's learning. We have to read. Our people have to sit down and read and get knowledge. I had to learn that. Yeah, I went to school. I have a master's degree. I did that. But, of course, you go to school, you read what they tell you to read. But you need to start looking into things to better yourself as a person. Like 2 books that I read that changed my life. One of them was The 30-Day Mental Diet. That book was amazing. It's literally a 30-day journal, like a journal kind of book. And it takes 10 minutes to read every day. 10 minutes for 30 days. And it teaches you who you are. It teaches you in the universe, first of all, how you fit in this universe, how important each of us are in this universe, and the things that you need to do to be a better you. And it takes you through a mental diet for 30 days. The next book is The 4 Agreements. I read that book just recently. Somebody put me on that book a couple months ago. It's a little book. Not Amazon has it for $4 or $5. It's a little book. Take you about a couple of days to read it. But the 4 agreements are so simple, but it's so hard to do. You know how things sound like simple, but when you do them, you have to really put effort into doing it. I would recommend to anyone on your show that's listening to this that feels stuck, feel like they don't know what's going on with themselves. They feel like they're in situations or they're dealing with people they don't understand why. If you get those 2 books and really put the effort in reading those books, I guarantee you your life will change in a matter of 2 or 3 months. Now, in the change that you do go through, you have to understand that you're going to have to let people go. There's going to be people in your life you're going to have to let. There's no way around it. I tried. It doesn't work. You have to let people go. When you grow, you got to let go.
And
That's
don't
why
take it.
Rhyme.
Let me just say this to y'all, because y'all know, don't take it personal, right? And so it's people that where relationships for me were severed. And you can't take it personal because it's not necessarily something that's bad.
Nope.
Sometimes you outgrow people. Sometimes people will only remember you from one level when you've accelerated to a whole nother level. And so, and I said this on the last show last week, if you tuned in, that they remember who you were. And so,
yes, I remember that part.
Yeah. So they want you to
stay there.
Stay there, or they're thinking that you're acting funny when you're like, I don't like to do that anymore. Or, yeah, we did that. We partied hard, but no, I go to bed at 8:30 now because I got things to do. Or, I got to be up because, my brain is churning. I'm constantly journaling. I'm constantly writing, and and it's just the life that I'm in. An entrepreneur life, your brain, I don't think ever stops.
Oh, it's nice. I wake up in the middle of the night with an idea, and I have my laptop right in the bed with me, and I just jump up and I just start typing, or I'll jot something down. So, because you're going to forget, and sometimes things come to me in my sleep, and I'll just jump up and jot it down so I can remember it the next day or whatever. Like you said, we want everything. We can't have everything. We want to have this life, and the life that you want. And you hear people say it all the time. You hear people like Steve Harvey and Oprah, and people always speaking on this kind of stuff, and T.D. Jakes, all of them said the same thing. You get to a certain point, some people just can't do the full journey with you. And it's not like a dramatic exit, and it's not no madness. And it's just that you talk to them, but not as much. You may see them, a couple of times a year. You may just holler at them once or twice a year, make sure they're doing good. You still love them. It's not like you hate nobody. But like you said, one of the 4 agreements is don't take it personal. That's one of the agreements.
Oh, wow.
It teaches you how not to take things personally. When a person gets mad at you, they're mad at themselves. They're not mad at you. when a person, like they said, hurt people, right? So when you have a person that, let's say you're in traffic and you make a mistake and cut somebody off and they flip the finger or they do whatever, they're mad at themselves. They're upset with them. They're not upset with you. They just throwing it at you. So when I started thinking of it in that way, how people react, and when people act certain ways, like, that there's anger, you go, oh, I'm so sorry. I see you having a bad day. I see that you're mad and you just want to get it out and you're just using me as that person. Like when I see it that way, I don't take nothing personal. Now, back in the day, we clapping back. You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna say something to me, I'm gonna say something to you. We're gonna be, But when I realized that, first of all, it doesn't make no sense because it doesn't solve anything. And secondly, I know where it's coming from. I know where the place is coming from. It's coming from you being not happy with your life and not happy with your situation. And I feel you. So I'm not even going to go with that with you because we're not going to get nothing solved that way. See, when you kind of take it like that, you see how it really is. You don't take nothing personal no more.
And sometimes people are just dealing with those. I always talk about releasing my secret is my thing, right. Because they are dealing with those hidden things. Right. And it might be something from childhood. It might be situations that they've gone through. And so now it's displaying as anger. It's displaying in trust issues. It's displaying because I said this, I don't know, when I said this, I think I was on, no, it was a private Zoom. And so I was one of the speakers for the Zoom on this particular day. We were talking about trauma and relationships. Mm-hmm. And I said at a point in time in my life, I used to be very territorial over relationships. Anybody, people relationships. It could be a friend, somebody I'm dating. And I was so territorial. I really didn't like them having other friends. I mean, it was all right. I mean, I wasn't like, I don't know friends, right? But I would feel some kind of way if it wasn't me and them in our time. And not on anything funny. I didn't like to share.
Okay. Got you.
And one day I'd be like, well, why are you like this? Why are you so clingy? I should say, maybe that's the best word to use it.
Yeah.
And a people hoarder, right? Because some people are only supposed to be in your life temporarily, but we try to hold on to everybody.
Seasonal people, yeah.
And so, and it's so funny because even when I was going through the contacts in my phone, I have contacts, probably people with numbers that they probably got rid of 20 years ago, but that's a whole other story for a whole other day. And so, why are you such a people hoarder, right? And so I had to sit back and think about that. And I'm like, well, in school, I didn't really have a lot of friends. Not that I wasn't friendly. First of all, I was really shy, but not really. I was churched old school. And so because I was churched old school, I stayed a lot to myself because, don't be unequally yoked. People just take scriptures out of context back then. You just didn't have, so now I can't talk to you. Yeah, I can't talk to you because we don't believe the same thing. Oh, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, right? And so I found myself in a place of, I never wanted to let people go.
Oh.
And so why did I take offense when we wasn't friends anymore? Why did I take offense when that relationship ended? Because again, like I said, some relationships are seasonal. I've put a lot of people in places that they shouldn't have been in. Pastor Darius, I can't think of his name. He wrote a book. When my therapist that gave it to me, it was called, when I think about it, it's talking about relationships. Okay. And how you place people into relationships. I'm going to look it up in a second. Where you place people at in your life. Some people aren't meant to be your friends. Some people you're just meant to help out a little bit. Some people are just come around just to encourage you for the moment, to push you along, to get you out that stuck place. So I had to teach myself not to take offense if somebody want to let me go. If somebody, if we didn't speak for a long time. And so I have some of the most wonderful friends, sisterhoods that I've come into. And like I said last week, we don't speak all the time. I talk to you every day. But when we do speak, we never miss a beat. And our connection is so good that I'll call and they'll be like, oh, you're going through something. What's going on? And so it's always on point. But again, that goes back to you can't take offense. And I had to learn that. And so, but it stemmed from childhood, not really having friends, people not really wanting to talk to me. Or so I was called the church girl in school, right? And so, and everything that I did, I'm the baby. My siblings are about 10 years older than me. And so when I tried to do something to identify who I was, it was always in their footprint. Oh, that's
Right.
that's Panita's little sister. Oh, she can sing. Like I sing like
I
my
can't
sister,
sing.
right? I sing, but I don't sing like her. I
Right.
joined the band. Like, oh, that's Aaron's little sister. But I play the clarinet. Everybody loves that. I love the clarinet. I love classical music. But they listen to my brother dance. It's like I can't dance. I can two-step. You know what I mean? So I always walked in the shadow of trying to identify. So when I found people who wanted to be around me, I never wanted to let them go.
That I never really heard of people hoarders. That's my first time hearing that. But I know what it looks like because I know people that's like that. But I never
kind of
heard
just
the
made that up on a whim. I
terminology.
ain't never hear of it either.
No, but that's a good way of putting it. That's what it is. Like, because I was a people pleaser. I was a people pleaser, and I had this trophy. I had this invisible trophy of loyalty. I had a trophy that I wanted to uphold, and I always wanted everybody to say how loyal I was to them. I always wanted to be the one to say, well, it doesn't matter. ReGina's always going to be there for you. If you ever need her, I would get up in the middle of the night and drive hours to get to somebody, or I would be that one that if something happened, I'll be there. Like I would do everything I can to be there for you. And I don't know if I was doing similar. Like I just wanted to make sure that people they knew that I was there for them.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the people that I was there for was not there for me. But I didn't even look at it that hard because I was so busy trying to be loyal that I didn't even look at the friendship as a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
I was just doing my part and I was just doing me. But I never really stopped long enough to say, ooh, ain't nothing reciprocating back. Ain't nothing really coming back. It comes back on condition, not unconditional love. It's conditioned love. It only comes back when they want to do it in their time frame, not like emergencies that come up. They ain't gonna come at you in no emergencies, but they there for you when they make the time to go to be with you. It's a difference.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of us need to really realize friendships and realize, you have friends that are unconditional or you have friends that are conditional and they love you in their box, in their time frame, in their hours. If it's not in a certain hours, they ain't coming at you, they ain't gonna get out in the middle of the night and come help you.
Those
They
people I
gonna
call
say, I see you
acquaintances.
tomorrow. I see you tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like
Those people, I refer to those people as acquaintances. I can't even call you a friend because friendship requires sacrifice. Some type of sacrifice in a friendship, right? And that's and y'all know I'm faith-based, y'all. So I say that because the Bible says that Christ laid down his life for his friend. So that means he made a sacrifice. So friendship is defined by sacrifice. And I'm not saying you sacrifice everything, you give them whatever, but it comes with something, whether you're giving some of your time, whether you're giving, it comes with giving. And so if someone's only reciprocating and you're only the giver, I can't call you my friend. It's very few people that I could call and be 100% just raw without hearing something. I used to talk to people, especially when my coaching started. I'm not perfect. We coaches, like I ain't perfect at all. And so people used to be like, girl, you a coach. How you a coach and you going through such and such? How you gonna help somebody?
Because I'm human. Just like you're human and you're going through something. A coach is that we are able to help you. Don't worry about this over here. I got to work on me. I have somebody that I talk to, but I know I could tell you, I have you down packed though. Don't worry about that.
And they don't understand that. They don't understand. I think that people look at people in leadership.
Therapists go to therapists. Coaches and life coaches go to life coaches. Because remember, we're taking in all your stuff. So in the interim of that, like physically and mentally, that drains us out. Like it's a battery, right? So our battery just goes, you suck it. But it's okay because that's what we're here for. We know we signed it up. We know the assignment. We signed up for this. But we need to be replenished too. And to be and release a lot too. So we could be better for you. Just like a parent has to kind of have their time to themselves because they got to be better people for you. I can't just do you all day long and don't have time for me because I ain't going to be able to be the best person for you if I don't have time for me. Same thing with being any kind of doctors go to different doctors. They don't go to their own selves and go. Doctors go to another doctor to get physical. They don't get their self physicals because you have to have somebody else to help you too. So that analogy is very simple to understand.
Coaches need coaches, teachers need teachers, people need people. We are all helpers of one another. Right. And so I overcame something so I can help you out. But there's places I haven't been yet that I need somebody to help me out of.
Right, help you out. And that's the way the world goes around. So there's nothing wrong with that. And when we get to the point that we feel that we're perfect, then we have a problem. Because nobody's perfect and we all learn, and we learn every day. I just saw something on the news the other day that an 83-year-old woman said that she wanted to go back to school and she wanted to learn. She wanted to get her college degree. And she said, well, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it all the way. So she applied for Harvard and got in. And now she's in school, her second year into Harvard, getting her degree at 83 years old, a great grandmother. So it's doable. You know what I'm saying? Like you never stop learning and you never stop being better. It continues. And and that's when you have to start understanding the people that's around you. Now, if you're around people who don't see that vision or don't have that mindset, you really need to think about it, because which one do you want? Do you want to become a better person and do your purpose and go out there and do what God asked you to do? Yeah. Or are you going to try to direct it yourself? Yeah. You got to let something go. Everything's not going to go on your behalf. You got to let something go. Yeah. 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 That's so true. That is so true. And it's just, again, that brings us back to purpose, because you take all of those steps and you let people go. You find out what it is that's your thing. And but it's a constant progression. You can't stop. I always tell people that, what are you scared to do? Why are you scared of it? And what would your life look like if you actually did it? But people are so scared of success. It's crazy. They'd rather just stay where they at because they don't want to take chances on how good things could be, because it's unknown. Unknown doesn't have a face. So, people go, well, why wouldn't you want to be better? It's not the point that they don't want to be better. It's the point that they're scared of not knowing what they don't know. If they don't know the whole scenario, a lot of people don't do stuff because they want to play everything out. They want to know every step before they do anything. And you're never going to know that. It's called faith. It's called faith. Faith means you step out without sight. You don't see it. You just know it's going to be there. You know it's going to catch you. If you don't have faith, that's why people sit still for so long, because they don't trust the process. They don't trust the process. And you gotta really learn to, you're gonna make mistakes. So when you get to that point to where you make mistakes, then you have to say, okay, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? How can I reevaluate this? And let me try it again. And then sometimes we do stuff and it just don't work. You don't even go back to it. You just try something different. For you. Right. Right. It's just not for you. But that's the whole point that we were just discussing earlier. If you keep trying, you eventually get it. Is when you stop, is when you're never going to get it. If you stop, that's a guarantee you're never going to get it. So which one you rather do? Let's go to Vegas. Which one you rather do? Do you want to go ahead and keep trying and have the greatest success? It's every time you try, you're one step closer to figuring out what you want to do. Yeah. Or you want to stop because you're scared and actually be in the same spot and you're never going to get there because you don't have anything to work on. You're not doing nothing, right? Yeah. So why would you want to sit still? But okay, so you go through 3 or 4 chances, but that 5th chance could be the one that is it. I always gamble on myself, and I had to learn to value myself enough to know that you have to continue to go, because Lord give you breath when you wake up every day. That means he's a reason why he has you here. If he wants you home, he's taking you home. If he wants you here, you're going to be here. So if you getting up every day and doing the same thing like Groundhog's Day, and you're not having no value, if you're not serving somebody in some kind of capacity, that right there tells you that you're not living in your purpose, because your purpose is supposed to be for somebody else, not for you. Your purpose is not for your selfishness and your just, money and all that. Like I said, you don't chase money, but money's going to come to you when you do your purpose. So if you're one of them people that's kind of like, I go to work, I go home, I go to sleep, I go to work, I go home, and then you go to a job that you don't love, you just go in there to get the check, then you need to really think about, okay, why am I here? Why am I walking around on this earth? Like, what is the purpose of me being here? do you serve anybody? Do you volunteer your services to anybody? Do you donate anything to anybody? Do you do anything for anybody else except for you and your immediate kids and family? Because that is given. You're going to do that. But do
Yeah.
you do outside of yourself? Do you do things that is going to really help somebody else? You know, when you see somebody that's struggling, do you stop and help them? Like do something, because that's going to, first of all, make you feel so much better about yourself. Like when I always carry in my car, I make little snap bags. And I put like toothpaste and dental floss and little toothbrushes and snacks and stuff, especially in the wintertime when you know that, it's hard. And if I'm driving and I see somebody that's homeless on the corner or whatever, I'll give them a little snap bag, with little stuff in there and it just to see their face light up and they just like haven't eaten, and you giving them protein bars and chips and gum and candy, stuff that's luxury items for them, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to go, if they have $1, they're not going to buy candy, they're going to buy whatever, Just do something simple as that is amazing, the feeling you're going to get, and you're going to want to continue to help after you get that feeling. And I always encourage people to do something outside of themselves. Stop trying to worry about you. God is going to provide for you the more you provide for somebody else. If you're only worrying about yourself and don't want to help other people, then he's not going to provide to you in the way that the abundance that he told us about, that abundance that you heard about is for all of us. And the only way you're going to get to that abundance is by not worrying about yourself and doing for other people. But whereas as a community and as a world are so selfish as a whole, not individually, as a whole, like, think about it. Just this pandemic alone, they tell you if you put on a mask, it would save other people. The mask doesn't save you. It saves other people.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, it's kind of like I'm doing it for somebody else. I'm not doing it for me. So we have problems with that. We have problems as a whole.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's people who maybe can't because they have respiratory issues and they can't breathe. That's fine. I ain't trying. Don't kill yourself over. If you can't wear the mask, don't wear it. But as if you really don't wear a mask because you talk about, well, I don't want, it's all about you. Like, it's not about you. This disease is about other people. It's not about you.
And that's just to bring it full circle, because some people, not me, but some people are focused in on that, right? And what you're saying. And so it's not even that, it's not even COVID. First of all, there is no business out there where it's just for that person. In every single business is always for a consumer, right? Your life is not just about you. You don't live in a bubble. We live in a world, and I always say we are all helpers of one another. Iron sharpens iron. We all build one another up. As much as independent as people want to declare that they are, you're not, because you're depending on somebody for something. No matter what it is, no matter how independent you feel like you are, you're depending on the gas man to be there to pump gas in your car. You're depending on the store to be open when you need some milk. You're depending on somebody, no matter how independent you feel like you are. And so you have to understand it's about community. Because we're all one big community, and it's about community, and living is such. As you're walking out, if you realize that your purpose or what you like to do is really selfish, maybe that's not what I would do. What I do, even if I have done it. Most of the time you start off doing it without even making money from doing it.
Right. Exactly.
And so, and it might not be in the same capacity, my capacity has broadened, and it's not because of myself, because it's just the doors that God allowed to open for me.
Right.
So in my mind, even though I'm like, God, I don't think, you sure, Lord? And the Lord's like, I qualified you. I graced you to get the certifications. I've graced you to go through the things you've gone through. But at the end of the day, he qualified you. And so I can't, and I said when I came into 2022, that this is the year of Santeresa. And I've been putting it on everything that I post. And so I can't tell you, if somebody would say, what does that mean? I don't know. That's what the Lord told me. right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he spoke to me, and that's what stuck with me. And so I keep
Mm-hmm.
saying it because, again, it goes back to knowing your purpose.
That's right.
It goes back to knowing your worth.
Mm-hmm.
And not letting anyone disqualify you, and not even allowing for yourself to disqualify you, right? And so, and I think it just all goes back to that. And so I think we're like at a really great point in the show because y'all know I get really chatty, and I say it all the time. Maybe I need to stop saying that, right? For
Yeah,
people,
don't say that. It's not chatty
they
because
gonna
you're
be
giving a
like,
lot of wisdom.
they're gonna be
Giving
like,
a lot of
Santeresa,
wisdom.
you always, we know you chatty, Santeresa. We know, it's okay.
Yeah, you're not being chatty. Chatty to me is talking a bunch of fluff or talking just, you're not. You're giving wisdom, you're giving great advice, and you're educating people. So it's not chatty. Chatty is more like gossip. You're not gossiping, you're giving wisdom. So
Yeah, I just, I feel like, well, maybe I should just go live by myself. That's one day, like just go talk. But when I go live by myself, life be happening. The kids be in the background, the washing machine start going, all kinds of stuff. But all kind of distractions come. When I feel like I'm recording the podcast, everybody just kind of decimates.
I remember like
yeah,
slide
everybody's like the podcast. Maybe I should just start saying now. I can't. But anyway,
go around the house, podcast, everybody.
I'm like, oh wait, podcast. Anyway.
Everybody go, okay, she's recording. She's recording.
So it is a very pivotal moment. I always say it's pivotal because I absolutely love this moment of the show. I've been on plenty of podcasts and things like that, but I never want people to tune in. I never want all of y'all wonderful listeners tuning in and be like, okay, it's about purpose, valuing ourselves, and now what? Right? And I always say,
now what?
Because we always talk, and there's so many different platforms out there, and there's so many people who give great information. And so, and a lot of people have resolve, right? But everybody isn't for everybody. And so I've learned that because, again, and I said it earlier, and I'm saying it again. That's my heart's desire, and not my heart's desire, but it's the truth of what I believe in, that we're all helpers of one another. So what does that mean? That means that, I could give information. I'm not a one-man show. And so when we have the podcast, if it's your first time tuning in, if you've been tuning in, we have what we call the call to action of the show. And so this is really just to give you have a personal quiet moment of me not talking, my guests actually speaking and giving you however they feel could sum up what they've been trying to say and convey for this show. I call it the altar call of the show. And some people might be like, well, what's the altar call? I said this last show. It's, when you're in church, you hear a sermon, and then it's like your call to action, right? What are you going to do next? Or it's like watching a movie and Boda got killed and they about to tell you who killed him, and the movie cuts off and you're like, what happened, right? People always be like, that movie was good, but it had a bad ending, right? And that the ending made it worse. And so I absolutely love this part of the show. And so I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to allow for ReGina to give her call to action to you on tonight. And just to wrap up and give you the actions that she desires to give to us for tonight.
All right. Well, when I went through my breakdown in 2019, one of the scriptures that really helped me out to understand the purpose was Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Not lean on your own understanding, trust in the Lord in all your heart, and he will straighten out your crooked paths. So what that means is trust the process. You're not going to understand everything. Everything that happens is not going to be planned out like we just discussed. Everything is not going to be laid out to you like with bricks. It's going to be one step. You're going to see a shadow enough to put the other step in front of it. That's all you're going to see. You're not going to see, because God understands and he knows the whole picture. He's asking you to trust him and not lean on your understanding. His understanding is so much greater. If you just release, let go, and let God and trust the process, I guarantee you it's going to take you places that you never experienced before. But in the places that you go, it's going to be unfamiliar territory. And that's the whole point, because you're not going to be able to be stretched unless you go somewhere that's going to stretch you. If you're tired of being sick and tired, and you're tired of living this life of mediocrity, if you're ready to be elite, if you're ready to get to the next level, and yeah, it's going to be a little intimidating for a minute, because it's going to be stuff you don't understand, but that's okay, because God told you, trust the process. So I would say to your audience and your listeners, trust the process and know that God has you, and he's never going to leave or forsake you. And then you're going to understand it. Another year, another 2 years from now, you're going to be so happy that you trust him. We trust in people more than we trust in him. We trust in products more than we trust in him. You will go buy a product or something that says you're going to lose weight in 2 days, and you'll trust that, and you'll go take things that you don't know what you put in your body. But when God just said, this is free, I just need you to trust me and just hold my hand and take one step at a time, we question that to death. So think about it, your mindset, change your mindset and trust the process. And that would be my takeaway for tonight.
Thank you so much. Y'all hear that? Trust the trust.
Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yes, that was great. That was so great. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
So much. This has been an awesome conversation, like literally awesome. Yes, I so appreciate our connection that was made on today. And so I appreciate you coming on and just chatting with me. How can everybody, you sent out, you done said you was an author, you're a life coach, and you're a wonderful, wonderful person. And so how can everyone contact you, reach you, follow you, get like, hey girl, I need you to help me get to my purpose?
Yes, you could follow me. I have a podcast and a talk show that's actually every other Sunday. It's actually on this Sunday coming up on the 16th. And my show is called Let's Talk 1943. It's live on Facebook and YouTube. So you just subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's Let's Talk 1943, and you'll be able to get notifications every time I have a show. The podcast is on all platforms. It's on 6 platforms. So any platform you have is on it. So it's called Let's Talk 1943. My website, has all my other information on there, my workshops and everything else that I do, is same thing, www.letstalk1943.com, and you'll be able to look up everything about me and everything I'm doing. So thank you. That's everything.
Y'all hear that, right? I done wrote it down, but I'm gonna put it in the comment section below, above, one of those places, you know, in the post.
And can I say one more thing? I want to tell your audience that Miss Wilson here, I just met her a couple of weeks ago. We've been chatting back and forth, but I did look at your show this last week, and I would say, please subscribe to her stuff. And I see your posts and everything. We friends on Facebook. We need to definitely support each other. We need to support each other, because we are here to help. We're not here to hurt or harm. And when you get more people like her in this world that's helping, it will be in a better place. So I I pray that your success continues to go on. I pray that you get where you want to be with all your endeavors, because you're doing a great thing. And I'd like to thank you again for having me on.
You're about to make me cry. Today, it's all right, but sometimes
I'm serious. I don't take nothing for granted. This is like God's divine order. I don't take nothing for granted, and I do appreciate you, because you could have been. It's so many people in this world you could have on your show, and you asked me to be on, and I really value that. So thank you.
Thank you again. I'm speechless, y'all. Y'all know that happens very rare. I'm humbled, and I thank you. And it goes back to, and I'm not going to go back into the show, but it goes back into when you find your purpose, you find your voice. And so for a long time, I lived in shame because of what I've gone through. The ridicule of what I've gone through, the laughs, the everything. And so when you release, as in the title, Release of My Secret, when you release and really allow for God to show you your purpose, your God-given purpose, you'll walk in it. And I don't take this platform for granted. I'm very selective of the people that I even allow to pour into the people who follow me.
That's right.
So I thank you for your walk. I thank you, just for even accepting to come on, right? And just being authentically who you are. And so I appreciate you as well. And so with that being said, is there anything else that you would like to say before we close out?
Yeah, one more thing. I actually have a workshop that I will be doing in March. It is called Wring Out Your Sponge.
Ooh,
And I actually have a workshop book that goes with it. So I have a book on Amazon. It's for the workshop. So it's called Wring Out Your Sponge. We're going to wring out them insecurities, those validation issues, those traumas, and we're going to wring that sponge out because, you cannot absorb any information on a full sponge. It's water going to go right over it. So we got to get it all out so you'll be able to absorb and retain the new you and a new mindset. So that's on my website as well. So if anybody's interested in joining us on this beautiful workshop of Wring Out Your Sponge, you're welcome to join us. And like I said, let's talk 1943.com and you can sign up there.
I might have to register for that because I love a good workshop. I do. I love.
You're welcome to come. Please do.
I'm gonna have to listen, y'all. Make sure y'all register. Check it out. Go to her website. Get the workbook. So even if you go, listen, I can't attend this time, but I'm gonna get the workbook now.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. You can still do it on your own.
Mm-hmm. Right, you got to be proactive sometimes. And so again, I just want to thank you for coming on. Listen, you guys, it has been another phenomenal week. I am so excited because 2020 is coming in, right?
2022 is doing it, isn't it?
It is.
It's only 2 weeks into the year. Only 2 weeks, and so much I've done already in 2 weeks. I've been so productive.
Yeah, it's coming in right. I'm really enjoying these podcasts over these past 2 weeks. And one thing I know for certain is that God speaks in one voice. And so the message that he's been conveying to us through these podcasts is really just purpose and living who you are and being yourself. And so with that being said, y'all do not want to miss out on next week with our guest that's coming in next week. And just all the great nuggets that's going to come even on that show. So tune in next week, Wednesday. Tune in Sunday.
I will.
Let's Talk 1943's podcast. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe, follow, share, tag, tell everybody about it. It don't cost anything
to share. Free to share.
And so I want to thank you all for coming in. Y'all know the quote. And the quote is, healing doesn't mean that the trauma never existed. It means that the trauma no longer controls your life. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I will see you all next week. Take care.